Come in.
Hey Gabe, it's Alex with UpperCampus.
Alex, pleasure to meet you.
You mind if I take a seat?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Awesome. I just noticed, first of all, thank you for taking the time with me today.
Sure.
I noticed looking through your LinkedIn that you went to 2 different Big Ten schools for your undergrad and graduate program. You're a big sports fan, and if so, which one do you support?
I am a big sports fan, man. All around, I love sports. But as far as which one I support, I was probably most heavy into basketball. I just like the quick pace of the game, the quick play, and there's nothing like seeing someone get dunked on, man.
Fair enough. So then, also you went to Michigan State and Wisconsin. So you have a preference between one of them, or if they play each other, do you just have a half Michigan State, half Wisconsin shirt, or how do you do that?
They both hold a soft spot in my heart, and if they do happen to play each other, it's a split right down the middle. I can't choose one or the other, man. They're both great schools. And
fair enough.
That makes
complete sense. That's fair. Again, thank you so much for taking time with me. When we planned this meeting, you said 15 minutes. Is that still okay for today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. So today I'm just going to start by walking you through just my agenda for today. I'd like to give you just a brief overview about what UpperCampus is and what we do as a company. Then I'd like to start by asking you a few questions just about Johnson County Community College, how your Career Services Center works, and just a little other things about your college, how UpperCampus might be able to help, and then potentially, if we're still comfortable moving on, walk you through some features of UpperCampus and definitely how we can help your university. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great, Alex.
Awesome. Do you know much or anything about UpperCampus?
I've heard a few small details about it. Never really dove into it too much, so I'm pretty unfamiliar with it and its functionality.
Okay, fair enough. So UpperCampus was actually started by 3 executives from Google, Facebook, and then Oracle. And what UpperCampus was designed to do, it's an online platform that gives students the opportunities to just grow in their career readiness and prepare for success outside of college as well as outside of high school into their college careers. It works with students to help bridge the gap between exploration, preparation, and then their connection. And it also will allow career counselors to help those students. In order to understand Johnson County Community College a little bit better, you mind if I ask you a few questions about how you guys just do business here?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, so first, do you mind telling me a little bit about what you guys currently use to provide career opportunities to your students?
Well, we start by asking students about their interests and likes, basically, just kind of where they want to go in the future. And once we learn about that, we're able to push them in the ways that get them towards their goals. We'll help them look and find different career paths.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Also, what, if anything, are you able to provide for the students who aren't able to, or just who decide not to come into your Career Services Center?
Unfortunately, we're not able to help them as much as we wish we could. We don't have the time to reach all of our students, so we just kind of have to focus on the students who are at the front of the line.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's unfortunate, but that makes sense. So what would it mean to your Career Services Center and school if you were able to reach and help all of the students, or at least more of the students that are on campus?
That would be amazing. We feel really bad about the students that we're not able to help, because we promise that we are, and it's a lot of work to help all those students with. Yeah. So we really just aren't able to help them all, and if we could do that realistically, it would just be very helpful.
Okay. Awesome. I'm going to move to a little bit of a different topic, just kind of talk about time. Can you tell me a little bit about the current process in your Career Services Center?
Well, we have a career advisor in office that helps students who come into our office. We cover things from resumes and cover letters, along with help walking them through the different stages of finding and obtaining a career.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you know about how long it takes for each of your career counselors when working with students?
That kind of depends on what the student is wanting, and it makes a difference for each of the time spent with each student. Usually just something like resumes or cover letters will take around 30 minutes, but then walking them through steps in their future career could take a little while longer, just because we need to learn, about their likes, dislikes, and past requirements and whatnot.
It makes sense. You want to build a lot of rapport with your students
Absolutely.
and be able to find out more about them so you can help them the best way. That makes complete sense. So what do you think your career counselors would be able to do with that extra time if they were able to let's say cut down those meetings with the students to even shorter amount of time?
It does take a lot of time, and it puts us at a big disadvantage when we're trying to help with all of our students. Like I said, unfortunately, we can't help them all. We don't have a large enough staff to do so. So we're not able to help them in the ways that we wish we were. It just stinks that we have to take so much time helping each individual student and can't reach them all.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, just gonna move a little bit more, talk about your university as a whole, and then how you guys market to just people around the Kansas City area.
Okay.
So if you can, will you tell me a little bit about how you currently market and then introduce yourselves to high school and then just prospective students around the KC area and the U.S.?
So what we do for that, we have Discover JCC Days, which is where students are able to just come and take a visit to the college. We have admissions reps who will visit schools around the area and introduce what we offer to those students. And for the most part, that's about all we do.
Okay. So what troubles have you had when outreaching to students in or around the Kansas City area?
Well, to this may be your surprise, we don't have any specific outreach to students outside of the Kansas City area. Even some of the schools on the Missouri side, we don't even target to. So it's kind of different and maybe not the most efficient.
Yeah, fair enough. So what would it mean to you if you'd be able to outreach to all of those students around Kansas City and also the United States?
I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, obviously, we don't currently have the personnel to do all those things in all these different high schools, so we do struggle with our outreach outside of the close vicinity. And if we can get beyond those points, it would be really helpful for basically every aspect of our college.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So just recapping a little bit of what we've learned right now, it sounds like you at Johnson County Community College could benefit from more like directed time with your students, being able to maybe not take as much time building rapport, find a way to help the students who aren't able or decide not to come into your career services center, and then also find a way to get the word out about your college to students even just around the Kansas City area, but also from further away. Does that sound correct?
That sounds about right. I mean, those seem to be three of our biggest hitting points as far as what we need to work on.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So if I could, do you mind if I show you a little bit about UpperCampus, show you some of the features of UpperCampus and how it could potentially help you?
Yeah, I'd love to take a look.
Okay, awesome. So unfortunately I would be showing you the UpperCampus app, but it's currently being used to record this. So
okay, understandable.
That makes sense. But I'll talk about that last. So UpperCampus has three different areas. There's the Explore, there's the Prep, and then there's the Connect. In UpperCampus Explore, this is UpperCampus Prep, but this allows students to, they're able to be given exercises by each of the counselors, whether it's interview help, resume help. It's little kind of homework assignments, things that they can do, where they'll answer a question as if someone is doing it in an interview, and then the career counselor is able to actually look back on it, give them input, and help share just ideas or different ways to answer that question. And actually they're also able to be viewed by even other people in that career field, if that's what they're interested in. There are people who work with businesses who are also able to help these students with interview prep.
Oh, that's really helpful.
Yes.
Really helpful.
And it's also, as with interview prep, it walks them through everything, especially it could be super helpful on Zoom, of just being able to, because a lot of the interviews these days are now going on Zoom, it gives you that more comfortable just feeling of being behind the camera, and also like being able to pick things up and still tell your story and express yourself, but still just being behind a camera.
Sure.
Which I think could be beneficial for a lot of students.
Absolutely.
Another thing that we have is the UpperCampus School Portal. So this allows for schools such as Johnson County Community College to really just show what they're good at and how they can help other people. So it allows them to connect with different student bodies around. They're able to create a little profile and then share that with different students who are using the app and just allow them to see what Johnson County is good at. And that then kind of leads me to the UpperCampus Explorer area, which the UpperCampus Explorer is an app that you have on your telephone, and very similar to a lot of social media platforms. You're able to scroll through it, look at all of the videos, and just see different things that might interest students. Also similar to a lot of the social media platforms, the content, as you go through more content and like different things or start searching through different things, your content becomes more personalized to you. So like students who like sales things, as they continue to like different sales and interact with different sales jobs, then the UpperCampus Explorer app will slowly start to narrow in on the more
and more of
specific
those type
things.
of things will pop up.
Exactly.
Awesome.
It also will allow and share with the counselors. So instead of spending 20 or 30 minutes with a career counselor trying to narrow in on what the student likes, building that rapport, trying to figure it out, they now have access to all of that through the app, which is, I think, would be super helpful for a career counselor, especially in cutting down that time.
Yeah, it cuts down the initial time they need to spend learning that stuff. So.
Exactly. Do you have any questions about the UpperCampus app before I move on a little bit, or did that all make sense?
I think I pretty much understand everything for now. I'm a little hesitant and just wondering if the students are going to use it.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. We've actually partnered with over 700 high schools and colleges so far, and we've gotten good reactions from students who have been interacting with the app. We have students from, I believe we've partnered with the entire state of Nevada, with all of their high schools and with all their high schools there, and so all of their students are on the UpperCampus app using it, interacting with it, and then we're also getting feedback from them, helping us improve our app to the best way that we can. Actually, don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna use it because I know he said there was a full state that did it.
Okay,
I just think it
that
wasn't
works.
that. Are you okay if I move on a little bit to pricing, share you a little bit about what I think would be best for Johnson County Community College, and then we can talk about what you maybe think would be best for you as well?
Sure, here, let's look at it.
Okay, so these are our 3 different pricing platforms for UpperCampus. There are 3 different tiers starting at $1,500 going all the way up to $5,000 a year. The first tier it gives full student access to all of your students who are on campus, which I believe is around 13,000 for Johnson County Community College. So that would give a lot of them access to it. It also allows the counselors to see it and just allows them to connect with students. However, it doesn't give them the full prep that students can have. So that's our base level, and then moving up, you get more of the tools. The one that I personally would recommend for Johnson County Community College, and I know it looks like I'm just picking the most expensive one on the screen, but I think the $5,000 a year would be the most beneficial for Johnson County Community College just because of the interview tool. I mean, being students in college, getting ready to move on to your career, I think the interview tool would be super helpful, as well as it would allow for the career counselors to cut down on their time helping with interviews, because they'd be able to get 30 different interviews that are now on their computer instead of meeting with students, interviewing them, giving feedback, doing all that. All they have to do is they can give feedback while watching it.
Right.
And I actually did a lot of the math to determine how much it costs for a career counselor if they were solely working on interviews with students. But you said earlier it was about 30 minutes per student based on what they were doing. So in an 8-hour day, they'd be able to help about 16 students. So throughout the full year, discounting, so the full 32-week year, 16 weeks, discounting finals week for each semester, it would come down to they'd be able to help around 2,000 students, and also for 8 hours times 40 hours a week times 16 weeks comes up to over 5,000 hours, which if you then put that into math, even if a career counselor is making $10 an hour, still way more expensive than just even the most expensive version of this. So I think, now I'm not recommending that you start firing career counselors because you don't have this app, but I think it would definitely help you. I mean, being in the pandemic that we're in, money's tight. I totally get that.
It is.
But I think using this would greatly alleviate stress for all of your career counselors. It would help your student body, it would help you connect with more of your students. It would allow you, using the college profile tool, you'd be able to draw in more students potentially from the Kansas City area by being able to connect with them. You said earlier that it's been tough just because you don't have a bunch of dedicated personnel who go around and visit high schools and really get your word out. So I think this would be super beneficial, and even if it's not the top tier that you guys end up deciding, I do personally believe that UpperCampus is super helpful for all colleges and high schools just because of how it can help students. Do you have any questions about UpperCampus? Maybe some things that I didn't discuss today, potentially questions about what next steps will look like, anything like that?
Alex, I think you hit everything in pretty good detail. I can't say I have too many questions, and I can see where the return on investment comes in, so I think this would be a good fit for Johnson County.
Okay, awesome. Do you know what next steps would look like for Johnson County if you guys did decide to go with UpperCampus? What would it look like if we were moving forward?
Well, ultimately, I do have the power to purchase this and implement it in the program, but I want to check with the Career Service Center counselors. I want to make sure they're okay with learning something like this and implementing it, especially in the middle of a semester. So I'm going to have to talk to them first and get a couple inputs from a couple other executives, and then I'd love to chat about doing this thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what if we say I'll reach out to you in say a week and a half, and we'll see if we can set up another meeting to potentially even give the career counselors access to UpperCampus just to see how they interact with it and what they think about the app. Does that work?
I think a trial demo would be awesome.
Okay.
It'd be really helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll reach out to you in a week.
All right.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.